You are live.
You're muted, Chris.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. This is the pre-meeting for the Rochester Preservation Board hearing for March 3rd, 2021. During this pre-meeting, staff and board members review cases. There's no participation by staff or the public. So I guess we'll start with the site visits. So I'll just go through each one and just let me know if you did not visit this site. Case 1 for 121 to 125 Park Avenue. Case 2 for 20 Dartmouth Street.
So I just want to say for the record, I did visit the site, but for the reasons that we've all discussed week after week, I couldn't see anything. From the sidewalk, you can't see this at all.
Okay.
So
You did visit the site?
But I did visit, yes.
Okay.
I actually showed the house when it was for sale, so I know exactly what they're talking about.
Case 3, which is 676 to 680 South Avenue. And then 101 Westminster Road, case 4. Okay, so all board members visited all sites. So let's start with the discussion for each of the cases. Were there any questions regarding the first case, 121 to 125 Park Avenue?
I had a question, and I could be mistaken, but it says on the first page, aluminum clad windows, and inside it states vinyl.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Inside, I'm sorry, which page is that? Can you
Sure, it's on page 3, south elevation, where it's a description. These will be the same vinyl clad windows and sill formations proposed in the east elevation. West elevation says the same thing, vinyl clad windows.
Yes, they are. The replacement windows are vinyl clad wood windows. That is a typo on my part.
Okay.
So it's not aluminum clad windows they're looking to replace them with. It's vinyl clad wood windows.
Okay. Another question, I don't mean to hog it all, but they talked about removing the air conditioning unit on the west side of the second floor. Did they mention that they would place it anywhere else? I didn't see it, but I just wondered if I missed it.
Yeah, so they're looking to maybe place that and other units on the roof in an area that would not be visible. But that's not under review at this time. They're just going to be removing it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Chris, what are our standards for vinyl clad wood windows? I'm trying to find it. I think
Did I not include that in here?
Yeah, that's what I was looking.
Oh, we have it. Yeah, it's on the last pages, page 22. Well, that's the last page of the packet, but I think it's page 20.
No, I have Anderson selling material in 2022.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong packet. So I included it in, actually, the policy, I must have not included it in this packet, but if you look at the packet for 20 Dartmouth Street, I included the window retention and repair policy in there, just as a reference document. And it does reference vinyl clad windows on page 21 of that packet.
Okay, and also on page 19, it says vinyl clad wood frame.
So these are, as I understand it, and so this is sort of, Kijana, me puzzling out what you're puzzling out, as I understand it, these are wood windows that are wooden, that the facing indoors is wood, the facing outside is a vinyl surface. Is that correct? Anyone?
We could definitely ask the applicant, I guess. It was hard to tell.
So these are the Anderson 400
Yeah, we need to
series.
ask on the record anyway, just to clarify exactly what they're proposing.
Okay.
So Not all the board members were present for that, but if you look at it, or I'm sorry, for the, when we did the window, remember when somebody came, I forget, Chris, you set up that meeting. It was a couple years ago.
Actually, I think Jason set it up, I think.
It was Jason at the, okay. So this is the 400 series window, which by Anderson, which is a wood window with the clad, and it is shown on pages 19 and 21. There's a cross section of the window showing that it's a wood construction with exterior vinyl sill and wrapping around the components of the window.
I think we've typically approved them, haven't we?
No, I think we have two. I think we have
Yeah.
two. The wood vinyl just sort of got my attention, but I think, Kirsten, you're right. I think we have.
We just don't want hollow vinyl windows.
Right.
Right.
You can ask, obviously, like Tom was saying, ask them further at the meeting, but they did include that on pages 19 and 21. So if you want to see the actual cross section, it shows it. Any other?
Yeah, and just as in other elements using the window replacement guidelines, you're not mandated to approve them. You know, you're still like, how do they look? Do they match in, you know, design, appearance, other things? Are they appropriate to this house and the other windows in the house and that kind of thing? So you're not mandated to approve them just because the guidelines say they can be appropriate.
I had a hard time seeing the exterior fixture that they were proposing.
I did too.
Right, me too, me too.
The light fixture on the east facade?
It's the one facing Park Ave.
Right.
Okay.
I just wasn't very clear what they were proposing there.
Right.
Yeah, if they had another photo of it, would have been, or you know, just a better photo of it would have helped a lot.
They just say that they will be installing two luminaire LED light fixtures above the entryway.
And I think they're on one of the cut sheets, but it's
Yeah,
just
there's a cut
tiny-
sheet.
there's a
36.
tiny little, yeah,
Page
there's a
36 is the cut sheet.
tiny little photo, and it's kind of hard to tell. Although it very well could be appropriate, but it's just tough to tell.
And then we have 39, which is another photo of it.
Yeah.
Thirty-nine is clearer. The image on page 39 is clearer, at least in my packet.
Yeah, it is on mine too.
Okay, mine too.
So if you're, you know, after asking questions and reviewing the materials on it, feel that you don't have enough information to assess what it really look like, these lights fixtures, you could hold on that issue and then decide whether you want to approve, you know, the other elements of it, this application or not.
Yeah, my confusion is that the elevation drawing doesn't seem to represent what the cut sheet is. But we can ask them.
Are there any more questions about this application? Okay. So we'll move on to the next one, which is 20 Dartmouth Street.
I was a little confused on this one too with the material. Was it Fibrex or vinyl exterior on the new window?
That's something to ask the applicant.
Okay.
They noted that it was a Fibrex composite material.
Yeah, if I look at the application, they say an Anderson 400 series on page 14, wood frame with Fibrex exterior.
Thank you. That's, by the way, a beautiful Claude Bragdon home. That's a beautiful house.
It is.
Mhm. Fibrex is a wood composite material, just FYI.
It's like a proprietary,
Yeah.
yeah, they call it Fibrex, but there's other composite windows out there too. But typically we see the Anderson 400 series ones.
Yeah, so make sure that gets on the record too. Even if it's buried somewhere in a cut sheet. It'll help us better writing up the findings
Yep.
for the decision.
Okay. If there's no more questions on this one, we're going to move to case 3, which was 676 to 680 South Avenue. You'll notice in this application that there are 2 signs under review, one that's existing. It appears from our records that it never came to the preservation board. We don't have any record that it was approved by the board for the Harry G sign. That business is now being split into just the 678 unit space. If you look at page 11, you can see the facade. And Harry G's used to be in both of these spaces. Now the space to the right, which is 680, is going to be converted into the sushi restaurant, and the applicant is proposing new signage for that. So we're reviewing the old signage that was never reviewed by the preservation board. You guys are reviewing, and then we're reviewing the new signage as well under this one application.
I think it's actually 682, which is what I was noticing when I was there yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's, so the tax ID address is 676 to 680, but the units are different with what the actual mailing address is. So yeah, I think you're right. It is 682 because I see that on this other page. I wasn't paying attention to the address numbers when I was there, but yeah, you're correct. Were there any
Yes,
questions?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. I understand the Harry G's sign. I've seen it many times, and I understand the, from site, the installation, all that. The poke sushi sign. It says, let's see. I'm trying to understand if that is simply on the door or if it's also a hanging sign. So I'm looking at page 11. And it's it appears to be like a small decal on the door. Is that what they're proposing?
My understanding, Deborah, and I think it's the page before, so I guess it's page 9, is that it's a hanging sign exactly like the Harry G sign.
Yes. So what you're seeing on page 11 is what exists there now.
Got it.
The applicant is the applicant put this on so people knew his location prior to getting any permits. I don't know if it's still there or not because I haven't been to the site within the last couple of weeks, but he did apply for a temporary banner sign until going through this process to complete the full signage. So that site doesn't look like this at this point. There's a temporary sign there. I think this may just be something you put in the window. That's something to ask the applicant in the hearing.
Okay. And the bracket that they're proposing for the poke sushi sign is a very similar bracket to Harry G's, is that right?
That's my understanding, but again, I would clarify with the applicant in the hearing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have a couple of quick fabrication questions for the applicant too. Okay, thanks.
But now in this case, though, they're using the Harry G sign as an argument to get the same kind of sign, but you're saying the Harry G sign was never approved and could be improper. Because and now I'm a little confused because when I saw the Harry G sign, I thought, well, it seems like it's comparable to the Harry G sign, but if the Harry G sign was never approved, and it's inappropriate, then are we supporting something that's inappropriate just because it happens to match another sign that's never been approved?
Yeah, so you're making a decision on this site as if it is a clean slate. You know, you're not, just because there is one sign there, you're not deemed on the other side to say, well, we need it to be like this on the other side to be comparable to what's on this side. And in terms of legalizing a sign that wasn't put up for approval before, again, it's you're starting from scratch. Like, is this sign that's here, is this appropriate? So it's kind of like you have a scratch application.
But just to clarify, we're being asked to legalize the Harry G sign
That's
and then
right.
to make a decision about the Poke sign. So we're being asked to approve both.
Right.
Okay.
But you're not, to answer Jim's question, you're not, what you're legalizing, you can't not necessarily deem it inappropriate or appropriate. It hasn't been ruled on yet.
Oh, okay, so neither one.
Right.
Okay. This is interesting because the one that is there, if they've never received approval and they have not also submitted an application.
Right, they're submitting one now.
Yeah, it's not been reviewed by the board previously.
Right.
It was installed without review.
Okay, I get it.
But it is part of our question tonight. We've been asked tonight to legalize, if we're prepared to legalize the Harry G sign, and then second, if we're going to authorize the Poke sign. Like, we're being asked both questions, I understand.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yep.
Okay, get it. Okay.
And are we also looking at the Harry G's bracket mounted sign as well as the door decal?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so now moving on to the last case, which is case 4101 Westminster. This is a case to replace previously installed balcony on the second floor for legalization. Any questions?
It certainly doesn't match.
Okay. All right then.
What did you say, Jim?
I said it certainly doesn't seem to match what had been there before, and
Jim, there's actually, it's an interesting application because they went ahead, they ripped off the original railing and put up this very modern thing that doesn't match at all, but they're proposing to take that down and rebuild a traditional railing.
okay, I wanted to be clear on that, and I saw the images that they had in there, so I just wanted to be sure. Because first I thought, well, now are they planning to replace that wrought iron one on the first floor, this leading up to the main door? And so I got a little confused about that because I kind of saw that they were talking about replacing it, but you know, it was one of those cut pages there where they showed the railing going up steps, and that may have misled me a little bit. Yeah, it was, I guess it was on page 15.
Sorry, I was muted. I was going to say, Jim, if you look at 15 is an example of an installation. That's not what they're proposing. That's just what they propose it would look like after being installed. So that's the railing system altogether at that second floor would have this look to it, is what they're proposing as an example. On page 14, you'll see photo of original baluster on the bottom on the left side, and then photo of current baluster. So they're showing that it was replaced with this new modern system, but they're looking to replace that new modern system with a new railing system, which is what the application is for.
And Jim,
that's
you
what you're
can
seeing
see,
in
Jim, you can see the new system on 12 and 13.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
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 All right, so those are all the cases. We will reconvene at 6 p.m. for the public hearing.